What is going on, you savages? Welcome to the show. Hey, as always, please check out the links in the description of the episode. If you are not a fan of looking at descriptions, I'll tell you what they are. TravisCrutcher.com. That's where you can find all things speaking, podcast consulting, coaching, whatever you want to do. Well, let's just do it. Let's make it happen, Captain. Also, check out teardownapparel.com and thealphainitiative.com. Check out those three spaces, all right? Click around, enjoy. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to now shut up so I thereby talk some more.
Welcome to Not Sorry with Travis Crutcher, the show where Travis will say some things that might trigger you, offend you, make you laugh, or even motivate you. So, if you're not easily offended, stick around and enjoy. On the other hand, if you are easily offended, listen anyway. Then go tell everyone how triggered you were. Either way, you can be certain of one thing: Travis is not sorry.
All right, here we go. So, man, I know what you're thinking, Travis, your audio sounds weird. Yeah, I know it does, you guys, because I'm recording this from the road and I don't have my super sexy soundboard and everything else. So we're just going to deal with it, okay? We're just going to make it work. And that's what we do. We persevere. And actually, that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So, great week for me. Got to travel, do some speaking, do a workshop. But one of the highlights for me, like the workshop was amazing, first of all. Like, it was just such a cool workshop. And I'm going to tie it all together in a minute. But before that, the day before the workshop, I actually got to visit with a team that I'm just wrapping up a long working relationship with. So about 9 months I've been working with this corporate team. And, you know, when we first started out, I've referenced them on the show before, but I call them Team Savage, right? Because of all the corporate teams I've worked with, these folks really leaned into the strategies. I mean, big time, right? And so I had the opportunity to go see them yesterday to pass out some certificates of training, and it was a lot of fun. And I want to brag on them a little bit. I actually did a short reel about this yesterday, but the truth of the matter is, like, I have been able to jive this team up with other teams and then reference them all the time and say, hey, look, you want breakthrough, here's what it looks like. You want to, create shifts and changes in your team and how you function and how you perform, this is what it looks like. Because what I saw with this team was a group of individuals, and that's what they were initially, right? It was a group of individuals that we needed to function as a team, and more than that, like, really drive home that family feel. And they showed up, man. They showed up with their own hangups, their own hurts, their own bad habits, all these things that could have precluded the progress, and they dropped that shit at the door. And I'm not saying that there wasn't, there were a few people, there always is, right? In every group, there's a few people reluctant to the process, reluctant to change. And even if it was from a place of cynicism, right, I'm going to prove this guy wrong, they still applied the strategies and got the breakthroughs. And that's what it takes, right? You've got to drop that bullshit. And so today, I get to facilitate another workshop for another team. And what's great about it is both teams have done this same thing. One of them, we had to do kind of the accelerated learning curve. We had to power through a bunch of content way faster. And that's cool, right? That's why I offer those different options, so that if you've got the time and the bandwidth, let's make it happen. If we got to get some serious change super quick, we don't have 9 months to fuck around. Let's drop the hammer and get it done in 4. And that's what we did with this other team. And I'm going to brag on them, but first I got to put them on blast. This team, when we first started working together, same thing, right? But there was an extra level of pseudo dysfunction because there was a lot of trust issues in the team, and not in the individual thing, but just because of the vibe, right? The perceived notion of what this team was. There was a little bit of, I'm not sure I can trust it here. I'm not sure I can share. And even through that fear of what are they going to say, the fear of what are they going to think, and all those things that we pack around with us and carry with us all the time, this team as well, they just leaned in, right? They just did the fucking work, man. And that's what it is. Like, let's be real. When we're talking about being transparent, when we're talking about being authentic, when we're talking about, here's the crazy one, here's the scary one, right? We're talking about being vulnerable around people we work with. That's a scary fucking thing. And especially in a professional environment, it's hard because we don't want a bad persona. We don't want a bad rep. We don't want people to think negatively about us, and we don't want to hurt our position in the company or in the organization or even in the team by oversharing. And it's a hard bridge to cross sometimes. It's a hard notion to get through to people that the more you share, you're actually building bridges of trust. You're actually showing that you're giving others permission to share more. And what I worked with both these teams on is a very simple truth, and that is it's a psychological norm that if I attach a personal thing to you, now I have a vested interest in you, right? It doesn't matter what I thought of you before. Once I know something personal about you, once I know what makes you tick, once I can see that we've got some shared goals, some shared aspirations, some shared drivers on this planet, then you're no longer just the role you fill, you're an actual human. Okay? I know that sounds silly, right? But it's important because so much of our life is spent in these modes, right? We're operating in this role and we function in this way, and we let that guide who we are, when the flip of it is really how we succeed, by letting ourself identify the role and ourself define what that looks like. And both these teams have done it, man. And it was so awesome to watch today and yesterday, just that's why I love what I get to do, right? And I'm not trying to make this all about what I do, but boy, it's so fucking cool to take a group of individuals who, for whatever reasons, right? Because here's the other thing that we don't realize when we're in these professional environments is that they're people too. They have struggles. They go through shit. We just see this is the person, this is the role they fill. Why are they falling short? Or why whatever, right? Why are they being a hard ass about this? Why won't they give me a little slack? And we never see behind the curtain because no one ever opens that fucker up. No one ever shows you what's on the other side of it. I know it's like, oh, another show about authenticity, but fuck, man, it is so important, and it is the thing we miss. It is the thing we miss, and why it's so important, and what these two teams have learned, and what they really have just started to personify, is the thing that is missing and in most drastically short supply on this planet right now, and that is fucking empathy. And here's the deal. I need to know your why, man. I need to know your why so I can figure out how you tick. And then that changes everything. That changes how I come at you. That changes what I can and can't trust you with. That changes what I'm going to ask of you in the future. We get stuck in these situations where we're like, so-and-so's asking so much of me and they don't know what I'm going through. No shit, they don't know what you're going through. You haven't shared it, right? I know it's hard, man. It is hard to be vulnerable, especially in today's world. Everything is jived up against these perfectly curated fucking squares on Instagram, and we think that's what we're supposed to be. And if I show anyone I'm not perfect, then I'm going to lose my power base, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. I watch it happen in these workshops. I watch it happen with teams that I've led in the past, right? The more real you are, the more transparent you are, the more personal you can become, the more that bridge of empathy gets built. And then we realize, oh shit, man, we're not in opposition to each other. We're in this thing together. And the only way we survive is with each other, helping each other out, filling the gaps for one another, figuring out strengths and weaknesses so I know where to lean in and I know where to back off. And when you start to think through that and then do the multiplication end over end over end, if you think, oh shit, if we could do that on the planet, right? How much better would it be? Here's the thing, when I get your whys, right, I don't care if I agree with you at the end, but at least I understand, case in point, I won't share the story, but I will say that today's workshop, there was a situation where, there was a wonky communication thread happening, and it was very much a she said, he said, she said situation, but 2/3 of the participants in this wonky, fucked up communication were in the room, and I knew this, and I was like, hey, so we're all here, just say it out loud. And what do you know? They said it out loud, and the next thing you know, clarity comes. People are getting an opportunity to clarify what happened and say the actual truth. And now instead of trust being degraded, trust was improved because we realized the motivators for what was said and how it was said. And it wasn't this negative thing that we thought it was. It was actually a positive thing that just got mismanaged. Hey, we can fucking work with that, right? So if I know your why, then I can go from there, right? And I can also, I have to ask the question. I have to be able to have that, quote, confrontation or critical conversation, whatever verbiage you want to put on it, to come to you and go, hey, is this what you meant? Because I heard this, right? Don't don't sewing circle that shit. Don't rumor mill it. Just direct action that thing. There's a tactful way to do it. Just go, hey, I heard this. Is this accurate? No? Okay, well, what the fuck is the truth? Oh, I get it. Cool. Now we can move forward, right? And so, these are just things that I got to witness the last couple of days and over the last several months working with these teams. And it's something I talk about quite a bit, but boy, we forget about all the time. Be transparent. Be real. Be authentic. Share. Share who you fucking really are, man, because people aren't going to know unless you tell them. And then have some goddamn empathy for one another. The more personal it gets, the more empathy is generated. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's hard to share, man. And like, if you're on the planet right now, you don't have trust issues, go outside for 5 minutes. You will. I promise. All right? But we have to be better than that. We have to be better than our instinct. We have to be better than this survival mode that we get stuck in, because that's the road to breakthrough. Anyway, wanted to brag on some folks. Wanted to give you a couple strategies. Wanted to drive home a couple points that I probably talk about too much, but I'm not going to slow down talking about them anytime soon. Anyway, hope you dug it. Hope you took something away from it, and I will talk to you next time. Later.